So moving on to topic 2, whole different direction. Let's do some tier listing, shall we? Let's see. Whoop. All right, today we're going to be ranking the Pixar films. I have double checked this list. No, I did not create it. These are all the films that Pixar has created under the Disney umbrella to them. Maybe the company as a whole. I don't fucking know. But anyways, I just wanted to, in light of Turning Red just coming out, I wanted to do this topic and have some fun just talking about Pixar movies and where they rank. So for the newer movies, I'm gonna try my best not to do any spoilers, but I think anything. So I'm not gonna talk spoilers about Turning Red. I'm just gonna give my general impression of that film, and then where I'd say probably. Maybe an Onward, or yeah, I think Onward's probably a good cutoff zone. That Onward and previous, I might talk spoilers. So just a heads up there, if anybody in the timeline or any of these movies in the timeline, anybody's watching, you're like, oh, I don't want to know about. There's your point to be like, oh shit, okay, I gotta come back to this. All right, now, so we got 5 tiers right now. We got timeless, great, good, okay, and then haven't seen. We're going to split these off into their topics or into their categories first, and then we'll see if maybe we want to get really nitty gritty and see what the top tippy top ones are. So let's start with haven't seen. So most of these are more recent films. They are on the queue on the Disney Plus, but I have not found the time to watch them. So Cars 2 and 3, those ones aren't recent, but those ones are in there. Haven't heard great things about Cars 2, but it's on there. Mrs. G, what's up? You watched Turning Red? I did. I watched it last night in preparation for this topic. Haven't watched Coco. Heard great things about that one. Haven't watched Luca. That was the most recent one before Turning Red. And then Soul's another one I haven't watched. Let's see. Good Dinosaur I haven't watched. I think that was another one that didn't perform super well. Lightyear's not even out yet, so whoop, I'll put that in there. I think the rest of these I have watched. Yes, okay. So, we're starting with the okay category. Which of these Pixar movies are just okay? Now, granted, my memory of some of these movies may be a little bit lacking, so before you yell at me, just be aware of that. All right, so we're speaking of Turning Red because we're doing this topic because of Turning Red. Turning Red was an okay movie. Boop. Okay movie. Not trying to be like, oh, this was bad, anything like that. It was fun. I really liked the main character, May. I really liked her friends. Her friends were very funny, and it was a good, healthy, supportive group. If you don't know the concept of this story, essentially the themes that they're trying to explore with this film is family values, like most Pixar films, and then discovering yourself and being brave enough to embrace that and be your true self. So her main character May was fantastic, her friends were fantastic, and I think the story they were trying to tell was really well told and was good. The reason it's just okay, and this is comparing it to the other movies in the list down here below, I didn't feel super emotional in this film compared to other ones. Now, it may be a fact of May's situation of being a teenage girl I personally don't relate with as a male of 28 years old. So it wasn't a bad story. It was just I didn't have that connection, and there was never that point of I feel so connected that I'm emotionally pushed over this edge in this direction. It was just I had a good time, great movie. It went by not super fast, but it didn't feel like it dragged at any point. entertaining. Really good. I would still highly recommend people watch it, but I'm going to put it in the okay category. All right. Another one that it's going to be in the okay category is going to be Finding Dory. And I'm going to say this, I don't remember much of Finding Dory. I think I saw bits and pieces of it. This one is definitely on the lower end. Like, I'd put Turning Red way over that. It was okay. It was just, I don't remember anything memorable from it. Another one that was okay was Incredibles 2. I do remember, fond memory, of seeing this with the at the Kind of Funny Live prom, I think it was. Going to Alamo Draft House, hanging out with a bunch of friends, going to see this movie. And it was fine. It was just more Incredibles, which isn't a bad thing. It just didn't really bring anything too much new to the table. It almost seemed like just, this sounds weird, but just a continuation of Incredibles. But like, duh, that's the point. It's the same story. Nothing was like really mind-blowing or like super, I don't know, nothing really happened that I can recall. Like, obviously the story points happened, but it was just fine. It was fun. It was entertaining. Animation looked great. That's something I'll go back once again to Turning Red. Everything looked phenomenal in that film. Yeah, Incredibles 2 was just, yeah, it was okay. Yeah. And then I'm gonna put Bug's Life in okay. I don't know. You know, that's B movie. Get out of here, Peanut Gallery. Bug's Life was okay. I don't know. I never really cared for Bug's Life. It was just fine. Flick and all of his friends fighting the grasshoppers and yeah, whatever. No, yeah. Okay, if I had to throw one more in there, I think I would throw, you know, I might throw 2 in there. Ooh, maybe even 3. Ooh, they're all just going right down the tube here. I like Brave, but Brave's okay. What? The Peanut Gallery has something to say. Brave was okay. And this one, maybe it's just me and my memory. Like, I really like Merida. Merida's top tier. Don't get me wrong. But this movie was okay. And once again, could be memory. I'm just missing out on a lot of stuff. But that one was okay. Finding Nemo is okay. Now, before that whole, you know, picket riot group comes after me. The reason Finding Nemo is okay. The story is great. Marvin? Whatever dad's name is. Finding his son. Going through all these hoops and trials to find him. Fantastic. The story of Nemo obviously growing up, learning, you know, confidence in himself and his own, you know, obviously the flipper thing. Great. I watched this movie so many goddamn times in 5th grade that it just put a sour taste in my mouth. So that's the reason it's only okay. You're gonna fight her over Brave? Oh boy. I like Merida. Merida's top tier. It's just, once again, it could be a memory thing. Just like, all I remember was her brothers got turned into bears, and you want to control your fate, and you know, that kind of thing. But I don't know. Another one that's okay is Monsters University. Good movie, entertaining movie. I remember when Monsters University came out, everybody was like all over it, like, oh my god, it was so good, it might even better than the original. And I watched it maybe a month ago, and I'm like, that was fine. It was entertaining. I like seeing Mike and Sully and their relationship grow, and like their goal to, you know, be part of the scare floor and them working together. But yeah, it was fine. It wasn't bad. Just, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. So now let's get to the good category. Ooh, boy. Now we really got to, like... I feel like I'm going to start... Well, maybe not breaking my own heart here. We'll put Incredibles in good. Incredibles was a good movie. I liked the kids. Violet and Dash were very entertaining. Just Dash's obviously overconfidence with his abilities and wanting to do whatever he could, and then the flip side with Violet not being sure of herself, but still, like, if it's a brother, putting her foot down and using her powers when needed. Seeing them, Edna Mode was hilarious. We need more Edna. She was great. And then I really liked the history that they made in that world with all the different heroes that they had. It was kind of cool to kind of learn, you know, briefly, but see all the history of these heroes, and obviously the story that they're telling. Like, heroes were all around, they were doing, you know, hero stuff, saving people and whatever, and then unfortunately, you know, things didn't work out and they got, not in trouble, but like had to go underground essentially. Like, I thought that was really compelling. And then learning about Syndrome, obviously the story of like how he was treated as a kid is like, oh, his villain arc. Like, that was the point where everything went bad. And his motivations of like, if nobody can be superpowered, or if everybody's superpowered, nobody's super, blah, blah, blah. Like, taking out everybody, making nobody special. It was fun. It was fun. And then obviously Jack Jack in the finale finally getting his powers and just like having 8,000 powers and freaking out there. I don't know. Incredibles was fun. It was a fun movie. You got the little tease for Incredibles 2 at the end, which was fun, even though it took Incredibles 2 like 10 years to come out. But it was a good time. It was a good time. I'd put Cars in good as well. Good as well. Ka-chow. Life is a Highway. Do I need to say more? God, that song. Oh boy, they really cashed in on that one. Yeah, Cars was good. I'm curious to see where the journey of Cars continues. Like, once again, Cars 2, haven't heard great things about when they go to Europe. Cars 3, heard great things about. So at least they had the moment of redemption. So yeah, Cars was good. Cars was a good time. I would put, oh boy, I would put Monsters Inc. as well in good. I think the reason that it's only good, once again, solid foundation with the relationship between Mike and Sully. Boo being introduced, you know, obviously learning, hey, the kids aren't that bad, and laughter versus scream, that was all nice. This one's just more entertaining. And I'm going to circle back to Turning Red, how there wasn't like that, personally, maybe for other people there wasn't that like big emotional moment or like feeling towards the end of the film or at some turning point. Monsters Inc. didn't have that for me. It was just more, these are entertaining characters, this is a fun story, that's it. It didn't have that weight to it like some of the other films it's against have. And I think another one that fits that bill is Ratatouille. I think I put Ratatouille a little bit above like a Cars and a Monsters Inc. if we're ranking the individual in each category, because Remy's story, I don't know, I really enjoyed his relationship. I'm blanking on the cook's name, not Gusteau, but the crap, the son. I liked their relationship, and that was really good. But that's yeah, I would think I would rank that above, just because of the twists and turns their relationship takes. How they're working together, you know, the separation, they got to deal with their own shit, and then they come back. Yeah, I don't know, that one I like a little bit more. I'm trying to get a little bit too in depth maybe with these critiques. This tastes good, this tastes bad, kind of thing. It's good, yeah. All right. Oh, now we start getting into the heavy hitters. I feel like I got to put one more in the good category. And that will get us down to 7. Fuck. I'm going to put Wally in good out of these remaining ones. Wally has obviously a really good message about how we're fucking everything up with polluting and stuff like that. Wally is a great story. I know I just put it in the good category, but I'm going to use great as a descriptor here. It's a great story about this little robot who's just doing his job and his self-discovery to be a better robot. He is selfless and just wants to help people. I mean, one's his crush, so that, that's a big motivator. But he's just a sweet little robot. And he's doing everything he can to make things better and help that little plant, keep that alive so he can improve the earth and get everybody home. Yeah, just good old Wally. Good old Wally. All right, now we're on to the great category. Oh. So now it gets to the point where it's like dividing the remaining ones into which ones I like better. And I think I'm going to throw Toy Story and Toy Story 2 into great. Now, the reason these ones are great and not timeless, as this list puts it, these are the setup to what will come later. I guess I'll just throw those up there now, right? Toy Story 1 and 2 are obviously the setup to the payoff of 3 and 4. You get, obviously, in Toy Story 1, the introduction to your characters. Your Woody, your Buzz, your Bo Peep, Ham, Slinky, Rex, Mr. Potato Head. And then 2, you continue that with Mrs. Potato Head and Jessie and Bullseye, and you're building upon that story. And while these 2 are great and have very memorable moments, I still remember I loved the opening, like it's towards the opening sequence of Toy Story with the birthday party and the army men, like they're all on that walkie-talkie dude, like figuring out like where the kids are, and they're trying to rescue were they trying to rescue a toy at that point? I think they were. Something happened, but they were down there and it's all like secret ops to not get noticed by the kids. That scene was a lot of fun. And then Toy Story 2, you had the whole scene where they're crossing the street as the street cones. and you got Mr. Potato Head gets his foot stuck in the gum and he's over there trying to get it free, but they're all like, they don't realize they're causing all this chaos and traffic problems in the street, but they managed to get across from the toy barn over to the apartment for Al. I will say this is a total sidebar. In Toy Story 2, that old gentleman that like fixes up Woody as a kid scared the shit out of me. I don't know what. He just made me feel really uncomfortable. And I think there was even a short, I don't know if it was with the Toy Story movies, but where it was him playing chess against himself, I think. And I didn't fully understand that, but like that was creepy. So anyways, the setup of 1 and 2 with these characters and obviously the building of Buzz and Woody's friendship, the payoff in 3 and 4 just rips your heart out. And like 3, at that moment of pure despair of like what's gonna happen to the toys, that's the first point of like it just punches you right in the face. Emotion. Just like you feel everything and you feel destroyed because obviously you grew up, well, I grew up with these stories or with these characters in those 2 movies, like, and to see it come to a head and at this end, just hurts so much. But then you get the woohoo, the little thank God moment, the saving grace. And at the end, spoiler, I already warned about this, with Andy grown up and he gives up his toys to the little girl whose name I'm totally blanking on. And seeing the next generation of this girl's going to enjoy these toys along with her other toys of the Triceratops and the little, I don't know if he was Swedish, but little porcupine hedgehog dude. And it was really sweet. And it was that nice, saying goodbye, obviously, moment, but knowing that everything's going to be okay. They're living their lives as toys. And then 4 comes in out of nowhere. Oh, you thought this story was done? Nah, go fuck yourself. Disney likes money. It brings it in, and it has to hit you again. And it's just learning Woody's been going through all this stuff. He's missing Bo Peep because for some reason she was MIA in 3. What happened to her and their bond and once again, they find a way to rip your soul out and just tear it into pieces. When the conclusion of that movie happens and Woody and Buzz shake hands and part ways, that was wow. You couldn't have the night, it's still a nice ending. You couldn't have the nice ending of 3 where the family's all together and like I said, you're saying goodbye, but they're still okay. You had to have this where it's the family separating and they're all going on their own journeys and this kid's going to college essentially. It just hurt. So that would be the ranking for the 4 Toy Story movies. So now we get to the last 3 here. And now it's separating it from great and timeless. And I think I have to throw Inside Out into the great category. This was one that took me by surprise, big time. When this movie came out and was introduced, I don't know, I was a little older. So I was Pixar's great. They're already doing great things. But I had no intentions of actively seeking out this movie. But I had heard a lot of good things. Shout out to Electric Wizrobe. He said it was fantastic and how it explained the things that happen, in your brain at not a child's level, but made it so it was easy to understand and kind of follow along with. And their depictions were also kind of comical in how they were explaining things. Seeing that and then the story they were telling with I'm forgetting the main girl's name who has all these emotions of happy, sadness, fear, telling her story of moving to a new place and the changes she's going with or through and all these emotions. Oh, hiccups, hello. Sorry. Was really fun. It was a really fun and enjoyable story, and I think this might be one of the strongest stories out of these movies that is being told. And it's really enjoyable. There is an emotional moment with an imaginary friend making the ultimate sacrifice. That was sad, Mr. Bing Bong. But yeah, great story. Totally just nailed it out of the park. Out of nowhere. And then for these last 2, I think I gotta throw Onward and Up both in the top. I'm gonna start with Up. Up is closure. And, that story of moving on for, I think his name is Carl, the older gentleman. That movie gets you attached to Carl and Ellie, I think her name was, so fast. You open up, innocent little kids, they're playing adventurer, Boy Scout, Girl Scout thingy. They're playing that. They become real good friends. You see their journey together, eventually becoming married. they build this connection right up immediately. And you're like, oh, this is great. And then they just sweep your legs, take the rug out from underneath your legs. And unfortunately, Ellie gets sick. She passes away. And there go the tears immediately. And you just feel bad for, this old man just being on his own. And then, oh, what was the kid's name? Oh, I can picture him, but I'm having a tough time. I think it's something with an R. Hold on, let me bring that over here. Russell was his name. And then Russell being introduced into, I have the list here, I should confirm this guy's name. Edward is Carl. Yeah, Carl, gotcha. Being introduced into Carl's life and this new energy. And Carl is so just grumpy at everything. And seeing him and Russell not butt heads, but the opposites go at it is hilarious. It's seeing this relationship, and then obviously, with Russell's innocence and just trying to do the right thing, like kind of breaks down Carl back to obviously when he was a kid and being a wilderness explorer. And yeah, it's just really nice to see that character growth. Usually, obviously, you see it from maybe a younger perspective of the kid is learning who they want to be, what they want to be when they're older, but seeing it from the opposing side of someone who has gone through their life, not obviously to their completion, but gone through a lot of life, and then seeing like, maybe I'm wrong, and their character growth was also interesting to see. And then just seeing the relationship grow and blossom throughout that story. And the house, the drama with the house of like just trying to make it to that final resting place there that Ellie always wanted to live. And the drama there of like, are they going to make it? And the dangers that obviously come along with that journey. But then somehow, luckily, it was able to be finalized. And once again, that closure for that moment for them was nice. And then we get to Onward. Now, this one may be recency bias and also kind of ties into real life stuff. But Onward was fantastic. And this was another one where I wasn't expecting much out of it, but I wasn't really, chasing after it to see it. It just, like, it happened. Watched it. Mrs. G wanted to watch it, so I joined her. And this movie, yeah, it was an emotional fest at the end. And like I said, it may be like a recency thing, and maybe like a personal life thing kind of tying into the film that is skewing my ranking here. But it was great. The character dynamic between Tom Holland's character and Chris Pratt's character, the two brothers, obviously, their personalities are very different. But seeing the two of them, obviously how much they love and care for each other, but dealing with problems differently and their attack plan, it's fun to see those kind of relationships, like obviously how they start off different, but then they kind of, once again, they grow, similar to Up, to understand each other better, and they appreciate each other more for it. And the whole story of them trying to bring back their dad to spend a day with him, the struggle these two go through to reach that goal, it's rough, because like they get the opportunity to spend time with him and bond with him more, but not fully, with their dad only being a waist down, being legs. And by the point at the end of the film where they're able to finally get their dad back to his full self before he unfortunately has to go away forever, the fact that the main character gives up his time to his brother, who had more of a relationship with him, to, you know, say goodbye, to have these bonding moments, even just thinking about him getting emotional, is just is really good. It's really good storytelling. And yeah, it sucks, obviously, you know, losing people, but having that moment for him to say goodbye again and see him and have that last moment was really nice. So, Onward, for me personally, I'd highly recommend. I don't know if everybody will get the same reaction out of it, but yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. So yeah, here's my listing. Do I think I'm going to rank the individual ones? Probably not. Yeah, they're really tough. Like, even breaking down the greats to the timeless ones based on this list sucked. Like, any of these films I would recommend to watch, even in the okay category. Like, once again, Turning Red just came out. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's really good. It's well animated. The characters are great. Fantastic. It's really hard to separate these out because it does come just down to the nitty gritty of like, oh, I like this story a little bit better, or this one didn't really just attach to me, but it was fun. Like, obviously these lists are different for everybody, but for me, like, there's fond memories with those top ones of like, yeah, this is definitely one I really enjoyed and like would be open to watching it again and again, while other ones I'm like, it was fine, it was good, but one and done, you know, is probably okay. And then yeah, I'm excited to dive into these 7 that I haven't seen. Once again, Cars 2 and 3, Coco, Luca, Soul, Good Dinosaur, eventually Lightyear, to see where these kind of fall into the rankings. I've heard fantastic things about some of these films, not others, but I'm looking forward to diving into those and seeing how they play out, where they fit into these rankings. But yes, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can join this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911, usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're joining the chat like Mrs. G, Lady in Wonderland, and Papa Griff did today. Joining the chat, join in on the conversation. We'd love to have you, but if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services where it's dropping topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. And we'd love you for it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today for the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for giving it a watch, giving it a listen, and we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.